Chapter 7, Calvin. Calvin had a big round face. "Calvin," said Miss Jules, "I want you to take this note to Miss Jarvis for me." "Miss Jarvis?" asked Calvin. "Yes, Miss Jarvis," said Miss Jules. "You know where she is, don't you?" "Yes," said Calvin. "She's on the 19th story." "That's right, Calvin," said Miss Jules. "Take it to her." Calvin didn't move. "Well, what are you waiting for?" asked Miss Jules. "She's on the 19th story," said Calvin. "Yes, we've already established that fact," said Miss Jules. "The 19th story," Calvin repeated. "Yes, Calvin, the 19th story," said Miss Jules. "Now take it to her before I lose my patience." "But Miss Jules," said Calvin. "Now, Calvin, unless you would rather go home on the kindergarten bus," said Miss Jules. "Yes, ma'am," said Calvin. Slowly he walked out the door. "Ha ha," laughed Terence. "Take it to the 19th story." "Give it to Miss Jarvis," hooted Myron. "Have fun on the 19th story," called Jason. Calvin stood outside the door of the classroom. He didn't know where to go. As you know, when the builder built Wayside School, he accidentally built it sideways. But he also forgot to build the 19th story. He built the 18th and the 20th, but no 19th. He said he was very sorry. There was also no Miss Jarvis. Miss Jarvis taught the class in the 19th story. Since there was no 19th story, there was no Miss Jarvis. And besides that, as if Calvin didn't have enough problems, there was no note. Miss Jules had never given Calvin the note. "Boy, this is just great," thought Calvin. "Just great. I'm supposed to take a note that I don't have to a teacher who doesn't exist and who teaches on a story that was never built." He didn't know what to do. He walked down to the 18th story, then back up to the 20th, then back down to the 18th, and back up again to the 20th. There was no 19th story. There never was a 19th story, and there never will be a 19th story. Calvin walked down to the administration's office. He decided to put the note in Miss Jarvis's mailbox, but there wasn't one of those either. That didn't bother Calvin too much, however, since he didn't have a note. He looked out the window and saw Lewis, the yard teacher, shooting baskets. "Lewis will know what to do," he thought. Calvin went outside. "Hey, Lewis," Calvin called. "Hi, Calvin," said Lewis. He tossed him the basketball. Calvin dribbled up and took a shot. He missed. Lewis tipped it in. "Do you want to play a game?" Lewis asked. "I don't have time. I have to deliver a note to Miss Jarvis up on the 19th story." "Then what are you doing all the way down here?" Lewis asked. "There is no 19th story," said Calvin. "And there is no Miss Jarvis." "What are you going to do with the note?" "There is no note," said Calvin. "I understand," said Lewis. "That's good, because I sure don't." "It's very simple," said Lewis. "You are not supposed to take notes to no teachers. You already haven't done it." Calvin still didn't understand. "I'll just have to tell Miss Jules that I couldn't deliver the note," he said. "That's good," said Lewis. "The truth is always best. Besides, I don't think I understand what I said either." Calvin walked back up to the 30 flights of stairs to Miss Jules' class. "Thank you very much, Calvin," said Miss Jules. Calvin said, Miss Jules interrupted him. "That was a very important note, and I'm glad I was able to count on you." "Yes, but you see," said Calvin. "You delivered the note to Miss Jarvis in the 19th story?" asked Jason. "How did you do it?" "What do you mean? How did he do it?" asked Miss Jules. "He gave Miss Jarvis the note. Some people, Jason, are responsible." "But you see, Miss Jules, the note," said Calvin. "The note was very important," said Miss Jules. "I told Miss Jarvis not to meet me for lunch." "Don't worry," said Calvin. "She won't." "Good," said Miss Jules. "I have a coffee can full of Tootsie Roll Pops on my desk. You may help yourself to one, for being such a good messenger." "Thanks," said Calvin, but really it was nothing. Chapter 8, Myron. Myron had big ears. He was elected class president. The children in Miss Jules' class expected him to be a good president. Other presidents were good speakers. Myron was even better. He was a good listener. But he had a problem. He didn't know what a class president was supposed to do. So he asked, "What am I supposed to do?" "It's a difficult job," said Miss Jules. "But you can do it. You must turn the lights on every morning and turn them off at the end of the day." "What?" asked Myron. "As a class president, you must learn to listen." "I'll repeat myself," said Miss Jules. "You must turn the lights on every morning." "I heard you the first time," said Myron. It just doesn't sound like much of a job." "It certainly is," said Miss Jules. "Without light, I can't teach, and the children can't learn. Only, you can give us that light. I think it is a very important job." "I guess so," said Myron. He wasn't convinced. "Here, let me show you how to work a light switch," said Miss Jules. "I already know how," said Myron. "I've been turning lights on and off my whole life." "Very good," said Miss Jules. "You'll make a fine president." Myron wanted to be the best president ever, but it was such an easy job, he thought that anybody could do it. When school let out that day, Myron stayed behind. He turned out the lights by flicking the switch down. "Excellent," said Miss Jules. On his way home, Myron heard a horrible noise. First there was a loud screeching, then a sharp squeal, a roaring engine, and then the very faint sound of a girl crying. Myron ran to see what had happened. Dana was bent over in the middle of the road. "What's the matter?" said Myron. "My dog Pugsy was hit by a car," Dana cried. "Who did it?" asked Myron. "I don't know," Dana sobbed. "They sped away." "Well, that's not important," said Myron. "We've got to try to save Pugsy." Pugsy lay unconscious in the street. Myron carefully picked her up and carried her 2 miles to the vet. Dana cried at his side. "Don't worry, Dana," said Myron. "She'll be all right." But he wasn't really so sure. He gave Pugsy to the vet, walked Dana home, then walked home himself. Dana was so upset that she forgot to thank Myron. But he didn't mind. He thought that was what being a class president was all about. The next morning, before he went to school, Myron went to Dana's house. Pugsy was there. She seemed all right. Dana petted her. Pugsy licked her face. "See, Myron, she's all right," said Dana. "The vet said that you brought her in just in time." "Hi, Pugsy," said Myron. He petted her. Pugsy bit his hand. "I guess she doesn't know you," said Dana. "She was unconscious yesterday when you saved her life." Dana's mother put some medicine and a band-aid on Myron's hand. Then she drove the children to school. They were late. They ran up the stairs to Miss Jules' class. The room was completely dark. "It's about time you got here, Myron," said Miss Jules. "We have no lights." "Why didn't somebody else just turn them on?" asked Myron. "Because you're class president. Show Stephen how to work the lights. From now on, he will be class president." Myron showed Stephen how to turn on the lights. He flicked the switch up. At the end of the day, Myron showed Stephen how to turn the lights off. He flicked the switch down. After a week, Stephen finally caught on. He made a good president. The lights were on every morning. Myron, who was president for only a day, was the best president in the history of Wayside School. It was just that nobody knew it.